Hey, welcome. So you're thinking you've got a bad wheel bearing on your vehicle. Well, we've got 3 simple tests that you can perform to figure out which wheel bearing is actually bad. Now, today we're working on a 2014 F-150, but these tests can be performed on just about any vehicle out there. All right, so our first test is going to come in the form of a test drive. We want to, first of all, confirm the complaint of a groaning or a growling noise, a type of noise. And we also want to try to isolate if the problem is coming from the front of the vehicle, the rear of the vehicle, and then we can also try to isolate side to side as well. So what we really need to be doing here is getting up to usually about highway speed. It seems that wheel bearings seem to make more noise the louder, or they seem to get louder the faster that you're going. And you also want to get out somewhere where you can kind of have some freedom to drive the vehicle as needed. So we're going to get out to the country here and get some room. And then you also want to make sure that you you get rid of any noises, any distractions in the vehicle. Now that is some peace and quiet. But, probably not completely necessary. But seriously, you want to turn down the radio and, turn off the blower motor, that kind of thing. So I guess we can pick them back up now. Real funny, Mike. Real funny. We got to get rid of noise. And man, you need to stop singing those show tunes all the time.
All right,
so with all those noises and distractions gone, we're going to be listening for that noise. And this is only one of the 3 complaints that we often see with wheel bearings. We have noises, we have actual play in the wheel bearing itself, looseness, and then we could have ABS concerns as well. But our complaint today is a noise when driving down the road. Again, that growling or groaning sound that's happening. So we're going to get here to a road that's nice and smooth, that's going to allow us to rock the vehicle from side to side. And what we're going to attempt to do here is get the weight to shift either to the left side or to the right side of the vehicle, and we're going to try to listen for one of the directions being louder. Now, typically speaking, when you roll the vehicle and you get it onto the right side, the weight over to the right side, and that bearing were to get louder, that typically means that that is the right wheel bearing that's in fact failing. But it's not always the case. We'll get into a little bit further of a test to do with that when we get back to the shop to really be able to confirm it. But what we're listening for now, and I'll have to stop talking here for a second as I listen, but we're going to try to isolate front to back, and we're going to try to isolate that side to side. So we've got a nice smooth blacktop road coming up here that we should be able to really be able to listen for this noise. And again, we're getting up to highway speed, roughly that 50 miles an hour, and I like to turn my head like this so I can listen one ear to the front, one ear to the back. Sounds like the noise is in the front. Hear that kind of that growling or groaning noise. And then when conditions are safe for it, we're going to start to swerve the vehicle left to right. Really trying to listen in on that noise as we get the weight shifting. So it seems like when we shift the vehicle, steering to the right, getting the weight of the vehicle to go onto the left front wheel bearing, it does seem like it's getting louder when it's going that direction, which tells me that we probably have a left front wheel bearing that's failing. Now, we're going to want to get this thing back to the shop, get the front end up in the air, and verify that that's actually the problem. But it does sound like that left front is failing based upon this test. But let's get back to the shop and do the next test. All right, so with the vehicle safely put up into the air, sitting on jack stands that don't have bad welds or anything like that, we're going to check this wheel bearing for play. Remember, that's one of the 3 symptoms that we're looking at for a bad wheel bearing, is that physical play. So we're going to grab the tire at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and we're going to watch, or we're going to see if it's got play. But you got to also make sure that you're not dealing with maybe ball joint play or something else in the system causing that play. So sometimes it's nice to have somebody under the vehicle being able to see the backside of what you're shaking here. So You can see, say hi to Ryan. Everybody wave. Ryan? You fell, you might have fallen asleep down there. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab it at 12 o'clock and we're gonna grab it at 6 o'clock and we're gonna shake in and out. We're going like this with the tire and we're feeling for any play in that wheel bearing. Now this is a 4-wheel drive truck with the axle shaft coming through here. This is a hub style bearing on here. So there should be no play whatsoever. Now if you're dealing with a 20-some-year-old truck that's using a tapered style bearing, well, that's a different story. There's a little bit of play on those. But this thing should have no play top to bottom, and this one does not. There's no play on here at all. Now, if you take a look at this vehicle, this happened to be on a Dodge Dart with a bad wheel bearing. You can see how much play there is in that tire top to bottom. That one was noisy and had play. Now it's time to spin this thing like we were doing when we were driving it down the road where we heard the noise. But the issue with Ford trucks when you try to spin them is you're spinning the axle shaft as well. And you can see here, I can't really get it spinning very quickly. Well, there's a really easy tip that you can do here. When you start the vehicle up and it's in park or really in any gear and it's in 2-wheel drive, vacuum will be applied to the IWE or the hub actuator, releasing the axle shaft and allowing this thing to free spin. So let's do that. Now this, with the truck running, it does make it a little harder to hear noise coming from the bearings, so you want to use a stethoscope when you do this. A cheap stethoscope from any local parts store will work for this. But you can see just how much easier it is for me to spin the tire now, and with that stethoscope applied, we can listen to that noise. And again, this is probably a 2-person job making it easier. One person spinning the tire and the other listening. That sounds like our problem. I think that should about do it. We got this thing diagnosed. It's time to put it in. So join us for the next video where we're putting it in. So, Ryan, did you sleep?
Oh, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. So he's still here. I'm glad you guys stayed with me this whole time. I really appreciate everybody watching. And thank you so much. If you have not already, please subscribe to our channel, clicking on that little bell icon. That way you get notified when the next video comes out. When the replacement video, in fact, comes out, you'll get a notification for that. Also, make sure to smash that thumbs up button if this video was helpful or beneficial to you. Check us out on social media as well, Facebook and all the others. Links below for that in the description. If you're looking for a written step-by-step procedure on how to perform this diagnosis, link down in the description for that as well. We got it all written out, including a link to where to buy the bearing that we're going to be putting in here. Help support our channel as well if you buy through that link, so that would be cool. Again, guys, I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for sticking with us. And as always, happy wrenching, everyone. Thank you.